Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you this morning. Thank you, Gertrude, for asking me to speak. Thank you, Ruth, for putting it all together. And thank you, you amazing ladies, for actually being here, sharing your story, listening, and just giving feedback. So today, what I was going to talk about is the art of communication. One of the things that each and every single one of us know is that we live in an era where we have telephones, we have emails, we have cell phone, we have meetings and events and networking and all sorts of things. But research shows that we as a generation, we are the worst communicators that have been around. And as Gertrude said, is that coming from Africa, and other people may have experienced this in their own cultures and wherever you come from, is that we grew up, we lived in a cul-de-sac in South Africa, and we were known, all of us children, and there were about 20 or 30 of us, we were the cul-de-sac gang. And our parents never ever used to worry about where we were, because they used to just ring around, and if you weren't at this person's house, you were at that person's house. In summer, it was always the people with the swimming pool. In winter, it was always the people that had the biggest lounge and the biggest video and the biggest TV. And in those days, our TVs were still in black and white, and we had those little goggle box things that look like they probably belong in a museum right now. But we grew up in an era where people communicated once a month. Everybody in the cul-de-sac used to get together in our huge space of ground in the middle of our circle of houses, and we used to have a barbecue. Well, in South Africa, we actually called it a braai. And if you haven't ever been to one, you have to go to one, all right? But we had a barbecue, and everybody got together and everybody communicated and swapped stories, and it was an incredible environment to grow up in. And that's what Gertrude was talking about when she spoke about where she came from in Zimbabwe, and the fact that when she came out of Zimbabwe, she didn't have that connection, she didn't have that support. And that's quite a traumatic thing when you leave a support system like that. You knew who your neighbors were. And as Gertrude was talking about her neighbors, I know who both neighbors are on either side of me, but the rest of the people, and there's about 10 other houses in the road that I live in, I don't know them, apart from going past and waving to them. And that's not really communication. That's not communication. So today I thought I would just take us on a journey of communication. What is it and what do we need to do? We're all in business. And everybody is in sales. So I've been in sales all my life, and so have you. And every single person in business, I don't care what your title is, I don't care where you come from, it's not important. Every single person is in sales. And I know the moment I tell people that I'm in sales, everybody's toenails, I can see them. Their toenails start curling, their hair starts curling if it's not already curly. They find something else to do, because sales has got such a bad reputation brought about by some people who simply don't know what sales is about, and they've been taught the wrong things. So for me, everybody is in sales, number one. Sorry, I'm a firefighter and my alarm's just gone off, but I'm not going to dash out to go and join the appliance, I promise. I'm here. The second thing we have to know is that people buy people that they like and that they trust. So trust is key to communication. The third thing we have to understand is that sales is simply about the ability to communicate from one person to another or how it is that you can help them to solve whatever their challenge is. And it doesn't matter what the challenge is. That's what sales is. It's about the art of communication. It's about the art of being able to solve somebody's challenges. All right? So, one of the things you have to understand in sales. So I'm in sales, customer service, and leadership. I'm passionate about it. I'm absolutely passionate about training people, coaching people, and mentoring people. And I coach, train, and mentor people all over the world. And if you want some help, hit me up and let's have a conversation. So one of the things you have to understand when you're communicating people is it really and truly is about the art of listening. It's about the art of listening, not with the intention of replying. It's just about listening so that you actually understand what the person is saying. And sometimes it's more about what they're not saying. So it's not about just taking everything on face value. It's about really understanding what that person is saying or not saying, and then asking some questions about getting to the right place with that person so that they open up a little bit, so that you get to the bottom of what it is that they're trying to tell you or communicate with you. It's about reading body language. One of the things that I do, particularly with firefighters, particularly with victim support and all my sales teams, is about reading that body language. It's about understanding what's happening there, because sometimes the body language actually tells you more than what's coming out of the person's mouth. All right? Are they hesitant? Are they holding back? Are they angry? Are they literally vibrating with anger? Um, so and when you're talking to people, it's about understanding what's in it for them to listen to you or to hear you or to engage with you. So it's about them. And unfortunately, sales and leadership has got a bad rap because there are a lot of people who work from the basis of, I'm me, I'm the top person, and you've got to listen to me, and I'm going to tell you what you need. No, that's not right. Leadership and listening and communication is about understanding what that person needs and therefore engaging with them in that space. And you can only do that by showing up as an authentic person who's listening attentively, reading body language, allowing silence. Some people just don't like silence. And the moment the conversation goes quiet and there's silence, particularly in sales or customer service or leadership, what they do is rush to engage in that silence and talk. No. Allow that silence to happen. Allow that silence to be there. Because what you're doing is you're giving that person the ability to reflect, to gather these thoughts, to understand what they're saying and what they're wanting, and to get into a space where they are really engaging in a way where they're bringing everything that they are and everything that they want into that space. So listen attentively, look at body language, listen to what is said and not said, allow silences, use non-verbal communication, which is agree, affirm, yes, shake your head, do whatever you need, because that's the non-verbal side of things. don't rush in to talk all about yourself. One of the things that, again, yesterday, I had a client who I'm looking after with regard to a completed suicide. She just said that the person who had engaged with her before me, all they wanted to talk about was themselves. That's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. It's about the person. It's about engaging with them. It's about listening. It's about offering them the support that they need, not telling them about your own set of circumstances. Be sensitive. Be interested. Acknowledge people's feelings, which everybody has done with speakers in this round. And then the other thing is the ability to reflect. Reflect on how you're coming across. You know, when we were growing up, my grandmother used to say, it's sometimes not what you say, but how you've said it. And it's sometimes not what you do, but how you're doing it that people are not that people are getting upset about. So reflect as a leader. When you communicate, reflect how you're coming across. Reflect on your message. Is it concise? Is it to the point? Is it adding value? So reflection is so important. And then just acknowledge how other people are showing up, their feelings, uh, the things that they're doing and saying. And one of the things that has been brought up a number of times so far this morning is what we call self-sabotage, or the negative talk. Sometimes as business owners, we are so good, and people, whether you're a business owner or not, we're really good at that self-talk. And sometimes we give ourselves a harder time than anybody else would. And we have to reflect on that, and we have to stop it. It's not good, it's not kind, it's not necessary, and we need to quit it. But other speakers have actually addressed that and spoken about that before. Also understand that people don't assume that other people think the way that you do, address things the way that you do, have the same set of needs and wants. Just don't assume anything. You have to listen. You have to ask some questions to see where other people are coming from. Assuming is a really, really bad thing, because what it stops us from doing is listening, understanding, and it stops us giving other people the ability to voice concerns, say where they're coming from, and genuinely, if they're just not coping, say that they're not coping. A lot of the people that I deal with on my completed suicide or family harm or sexual violence clients and the firefighters, and I'm probably the worst one, okay, so I'm just going to put my hand up now, all right? When somebody asks you how you are, what do? We go, fine. Yeah? Because we're fine. No, we're not. No, we're not fine. We've got things going on. And we need to stop saying, I'm fine. We need to start being really honest about how we're feeling. We don't have to pour it all out in the first 5 minutes. We also need to be very cautious of who we're talking to. And we need to be very careful about the information that we give to certain people, because you and I all know that there's some people who you've spoken to who have actually come back and used it against you, or just not being very caring about the information that you've shared with them. So be very honest and very understanding about who you're communicating with. And one of the things, ladies, that I just want to put on the table right now, listen to your gut, listen to your sixth sense, or whatever you call it. Be really honest with yourself. And if you're feeling something in your gut and you're thinking, no, this person, no, There's something going on here. Listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to your gut. Listen to your sixth sense, or whatever you want to call it. Because that, as adults, that as educated people, we tend to look at the outside. We tend to look at where the person lives, the car they drive, how much money they've got in the bank, or their job title, or whatever it is. And we go, oh, they look fine, or they would never do this because of their position. Be very careful. Listen to your gut. It's one of the things that a number of CEOs have come back to me, particularly males, and said that this is something that they have not addressed, or they just kind of like go, oh, I'm being a little bit silly, or, so it's just something that I really want to put out there, that we've got to listen to our sixth sense, or our gut, or what our vibes, and what it is that we're saying. And don't write it off to, I'm just being silly, or I'm having a moment, or it's just because I maybe don't like this person so much, or something like that. Listen to your gut. Okay, so let's understand some things. One of the things that I'm talking about a lot with business owners and other people is about psychological wellness. What a lot of people are feeding back to me is that when they own their own business, they mom, they dad, they good cop, bad cop, they run the business, they put everything together. But one of the things that since the pandemic has happened is that they also becoming the psychologist, the doctor for their staff. And it's putting them, as the owner of the business, in a very, very bad place, because they're not looking after themselves. They're not caring for themselves. They're not addressing their needs and their well-being, because they're so busy and so focused on their team and their families and everybody else. And this conversation has come up before this morning. So one of the things we need to make very, very clear and understand is that psychological wellness is around understanding and reflecting and being very clear on where you are, how you're feeling. Are you disappointed? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you overwhelmed? And overwhelm comes from a place where you are not able to cope as well with the situation. And what happens is that every little thing that is happening, you're just not addressing it in the right way. And so it becomes overwhelming, because you're just not able to deal with things properly and in the way that you should be. So psychological well-being is addressing anxiety. It's addressing stress. That's one of the things I've had to learn. I'm going to put my hand up, and I am the worst offender. I go through life at 1,000 miles an hour. All right. I don't stop to celebrate my successes. I don't stop to reward myself. If it's between me and going to the gym and looking after somebody else's needs, I head off and help somebody else instead of taking care of myself and going to the gym. And I'm learning to actually stop and look after myself and look after and go to the gym, go for a walk, smell the roses, instead of running after everybody else and putting their priorities above mine. So psychological wellness, we've got to look after ourselves. Now, when the crash came, my speaking business, overnight, I had speaking engagements lined up, training engagements. I had a diary that was to die for. And overnight, on the 27th of March last year, my diary went from full to completely empty in literally one day. And I sat there and I thought, what the heck? And then I thought, well, hang on a second, Jean. You're in sales. You've done this. You teach people this. Go back to basics. Phone all your old clients. Have a conversation with everybody. Find out where they're at. Find out what it is that they need, and engage with them and start rebuilding the business. And that's what I've had to do. And has it been hard? Yes. Has it been easy peasy? not a chance. But it's about understanding where you're at, using the skills you've got to get where you want to be and where you need to be. And I think that's what Gertrude and a few other people have said this morning. So to tie everything up for everybody, the key here is KISS. And I'm not asking for a kiss, but if you want to give me one, that's cool. KISS is keep it simple, sunshine. Keep your message simple. The simpler you keep your message, the quicker it is for somebody to understand what it is that you want, what it is you need, and what your point of difference is between you and everybody else in the market. Because if people out there perceive you to be the same as everybody else, you're going to be seen as a commodity. And if you're perceived as a commodity, the only point of difference between you and other people is going to be your price. And then when you have a discussion about price because they don't understand your value, then it's just a race to the bottom of how cheap you can go. And that's serving nobody, not you or them. So keep it simple. Number one. Number two, what's in it for them to do business with you? Understand psychological wellness. Understand that you are amazing and you have skills, but it's about the art of communication. So keep it simple, sunshine. The other thing, ladies, that I just want to quickly bring to the bottom line is the 4 agreements you have to make with yourself. Be impeccable with your word. Number 1, don't take things personally. Number 2. Number 3, just do your best. And number 4, and don't make assumptions. Number 5, self-awareness. Number 6, just understand people's different styles of communication. There's D for director, which is, who are you? Why are you here? Just give me everything in 3 sentences or less. The person who's the analyst wants to have all the information, go away, look it, read it, understand it, and then come and make a decision. Then you've got your socializer. They're out there, they communicate with everybody. They're full on. They could sell us to Eskimos. All right? But they just want to talk. And then your relators. Now, your relator people are your office managers. They keep everybody together. And they come across as being fairly soft, but they've got a rod of iron up their back. They'll put up with more bulldoze than I would in any amount of time. But when they call it quits with somebody, it is over, it is done, it is finished. And if you're that kind of person, I honor you. I really do. So, ladies, for me, all I wanted to let you know today is that you are all incredible. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ruth, for putting everything together. Thank you so much, Gertrude, for allowing me to speak. And everybody else, I honor you. I honor your journey. If you need some help, hit me up. I'd love to have a chat with you. Have a great day, everybody.